I am not a proponent at all of animal cruelty, but in college, I heard a sad and cruel but extremely fascinating study that shifted the way I thought about hopes and expectations. In this study, researchers took wild rats and placed them in a bucket of water. Initially, the rats would drown within minutes. However, after the initial round of drowned rats, researchers introduced a change to the process. This time, moments before the rats gave up and drowned, the researchers would pull them from the water, dry them off, and let them rest. Once they had recovered physically, they would place the rats back in the buckets. To the researchers' surprise, the rats could now swim for hours and even days before drowning. So what changed that gave the rats the ability to swim for hours or days instead of minutes? It wasn't conditioning. It was the interjection of hope and expectation. Because they believed they would be pulled from the water again, they could just keep swimming for exponentially longer periods of time. In my last session, we talked about what it means to deliver excellent customer service in a culture that expects instant gratification. We defined responsive customer service as providing quality service in a timely manner. We explored how we can bridge the gap between what our customers expect in terms of timeliness and what we can realistically deliver. Specifically, we looked at a proposition from David Maister, an expert on the psychology of waiting, that posits pre-process waits are longer than in-process waits. Today, we're going to look at two additional propositions from Maister. The first is that uncertain waits are longer than finite, known waits. And the second is that unexplained waits are longer than explained waits. Let's start with a proposition that finite, known waits are better than uncertain waits. One of life's most profound mysteries to me is the existence and survival of the modern-day theme park. They're hot. They are expensive. They are packed full of angry parents and crying children. But they are also magical, and people return over and over again for more. Why? Why do we wait 40 minutes to see puppets sing the same earworm chorus over and over again? Well, one trick that was successfully introduced to keep people happy and coming back is telling customers they will be waiting 40 minutes to see the singing puppets. Rides at the best amusement parks give relatively accurate wait times because of this principle that finite known waits are better than uncertain ones. And this helps keep the magic. Even if people have to wait 40 minutes, at least they go in knowing what to expect. Let's take an example in the business world. If a customer is told that a refund will take 3 business days to process, they will be happier to wait 3 business days than if they are not given a date to expect their refund at all. A word of caution here, setting out finite wait times requires a degree of accuracy and it can backfire. This is because every minute after the promised wait time is no longer finite. The customer can no longer rely on the information given about what to expect. For example, Maister identifies something he calls appointment syndrome. If a patient walks into a doctor's office for an appointment at 10 o'clock in the morning and is asked to wait until 10:30, he is more likely to be frustrated than if he walked in without an appointment and was told it would be a 30-minute wait. This is because every minute after the 10 a.m. appointment is no longer finite. But in the walk-in scenario, the 30-minute wait is finite up until the point that wait exceeds the approximated 30 minutes, after which time it also is no longer finite. But keep it under 30 minutes and you have a much happier walk-in patient than a patient with appointment syndrome. In the business world, this should encourage us to estimate completion times as accurately as possible. But also, where accuracy isn't 100% possible, to under-promise and over-deliver rather than the reverse. In the refund example, which sounds worse? Being told the refund would take 1 business day and waiting 3? Or being told it would take up to 5 business days and only waiting 3 business days? Same time frame, different expectations, different experiences. Further, what happens if the wait is extended beyond the initial estimate? There is where the second proposition for today's session is helpful. And that proposition is that an unexplained wait is longer than an explained wait. What does that mean? Imagine you take your car in to get a check engine light examined. Now imagine you don't hear anything back for 4 weeks. You wouldn't tolerate this, correct? You'd be on the phone with everyone you could think of asking where your car is. Now imagine the same scenario, but you receive a call after one day. You were told that the part is needed to fix your car is on back order and that it will take 4 weeks before it will arrive. You were told they will call around and try and track down the part in the meantime from another vendor. This experience, while still frustrating, is night and day different than having no idea where your car is for 4 weeks. People who are waiting for a response want to know why they are waiting. Waiting without explanation creates the feeling of helplessness and loss of hope. It can create anger and result in rude behavior. It can allow people's imaginations to run wild. But I want to interject a quick caveat here. It is not enough to know why. It has to be a good explanation. For example, imagine you're waiting to order at a fast food restaurant, but no one is at the register. The line keeps getting backed up further and further, but everyone can see the 16-year-old in uniform who was supposed to be taking orders. Instead, she is playing on her phone at a table in the restaurant. Knowing that the delay is caused by a teenager who cannot set down her phone does not help any more than not knowing. Make sure if there is a reason for a delay, it's a good one. Thankfully, in the world of customer service, we are not putting people in buckets of water to see how long they can swim. However, with poor customer service, the process of waiting can make people feel like they are metaphorically drowning in a sea of frustration. But small changes can interject hope and expectation into the wait so that customers can just keep swimming with a smile on their face and contentment that they are being served well and fairly. Until next time, just keep swimming.